Hey everyone, I'm Mikkel and welcome to the first of many audio engineering education videos as well as gear reviews. Today I want to talk about a very popular type of guitar pedal, the Overdrive pedal. So how does an Overdrive pedal work? Well, it's actually quite simple. Have you ever gotten a tube amp, put on the clean channel setting and max out the volume while keeping the gain all the way low? Ever notice that there's still a little bit of clipping that occurs? That's often referred to as soft clipping, and the reason why that happens is that there's an output limit on amplifiers, so when the signal does pass that limit, it does get soft clipped a little bit. Now the Overdrive pedal takes that concept and makes it more acceptable for musicians. The way it works is that it's broken down into two main circuits, an overdrive circuit and then a tone circuit. So for the next couple of minutes, I want to get into the more technical aspect as to how the TS808 guitar pedal works. I actually got this schematic off of electrosmash.com, and it's a perfect website if you want to learn how to build guitar pedals as well as learn how different pieces of equipment work, and it breaks it down all the way to the math. Now, basically the Tube Screamer is broken down into two main amplifiers. One is a clipping amplifier and the next one is the tone circuit. So I'm going to point out here real quick, this resistor here, squiggly line with the arrow pointing, that's going to be the pot going in, P1, and that is often the overdrive. Sometimes it might have distortion on some pedals, but is the gain pot right there. And increasing and decreasing the value will set it between 0 to 500K. What that means is that this amplifier itself is a non-inverting op amp. So basically the input here is going to be amplified to the output here. And increasing and decreasing this value here at that 500K by turning that knob is going to increase the amount of gain. So if that's set to 0, there's going to be about maybe like gain of 1, maybe a little bit more, so you're not going to hear much of a difference between in and out there. But if you were to max that out, then that would mean that the signal itself would be boosted. Now the distortion effect actually comes in with these two little triangles here. These are diodes, and what they do is that they limit the output voltage on the signal. So basically, if the gain is set all the way max, and every time the signal itself and every frequency passes the limit, it'll get clipped. So that clipping noise is actually what causes the distortion. So increasing and decreasing that pot here would increase and decrease the amount of clipping that occurs, which in turn you would hear more or less distortion. Now another thing I want to point out is that the way this op amp is configured is that it's a bandpass filter. You have two capacitors here, and basically one's low pass, one's a high pass, and that actually dictates where the clipping is going to occur. So not only are you going to have clipping, but the clipping is frequency selective, so you're only going to be clipping probably the mids to the low mids because of the way this configuration is set up. And if you really want to get the math out of this, I really recommend just going to electrosmash.com. They do break it down step by step and show you what frequencies are being boosted. But just to let you know, it's about 720 Hertz. So now I have pulled up the tone/volume stage of the Tube Screamer. And basically what it is that the clipping stage is going to feed here to the input, and then the output is going to be here, and that's going to be affected here by the P3, which is the level or volume knob. And basically what it is that if you were to max out the volume knob, then you would get the full signal being fed here, whereas if you were to set the volume knob all the way to the lowest position possible, there'll be no volume. So then I'm going to go here to the tone pot. So basically the way it works here in the Tube Screamer is that if you have the tone pot, all the way at the lowest position and it's set all the way at the minimum, then this little arrow is going to be in here, and then this section here is kind of be cut off. So you're going to have more of a low pass filter. It's going to be a second order low pass filter. So you're going to be boosting a lot of the lower ends, and then you're going to have a higher cutoff, and the slope is going to be a lot faster going down. Now, if you were to set it all the way to the maximum, which is a very common setting in the metal scene, you're going to have it all the way maxed out here. From there, this little line is going to cut off, and then you're going to have a bandpass filter, and it's usually focused around 1.5 to 2K. And what that would mean is that the lowers are going to be cut off, and then it's going to be boosting, kind of like the meat of the signal. And then from there, you're going to have a slower cutoff for the higher ends. So again, all the way at the bottom, you're going to be boosting the lows. All the way at the top, you're going to be cutting off the lows and boosting mids, and then having a sweet cutoff at the end. So yeah, that's basically just the circuit. Again, if you want to see more in-depth explanation of how each signal works, I would recommend going to electrosmash.com. The common setup with an overdrive pedal is as follows. First, you would have the guitar. The signal would be processed and then sent into the overdrive pedal, and then from there, that would be sent to a high gain amp. Now the reason why this is done is that with a high gain amp, you'll have a lot of clipping in the lows as well as the low mids, and this causes a lot of muddying in the mix. The overdrive pedal would carve out the mid frequencies and some of the highs and reduce the lows, which increases the clarity and the tone. I'm now going to showcase some of the most popular guitar pedals out there in the metal world. Now, one of the cheapest options you could find, as well as a classic, is this Boss SD1 SuperOverdrive pedal. It was very popular back in the 80s and 90s by shredders, and was used by people such as Jason Becker and Marty Friedman. Now, the reason why many people use this is that it brings out a milky, clear tone out, and is really great for boosting high mids, which makes it perfect for leads. The second guitar pedal I'm going to be showcasing is arguably the most popular guitar pedal out there, and that is the Ibanez TS808. The Ibanez TS808 features a signature high-pass filter around 720Hz, which is perfect for cutting out lows and brings clarity in a high-gain setting, making it popular for metal musicians out there. The next guitar pedal I want to showcase is by Fulltone, and that is the OCD pedal. The OCD pedal features a switchable high-pass and a low-pass filter, and is often used more as a distortion pedal because of the amount of drive you can get from it. The last pedal I want to showcase is actually a very unique type of overdrive pedal, and it is the Horizon Devices Precision Drive. This pedal here is actually a limited edition version called the Tokyo Drive, but there is no difference between this and the Precision Drive besides just the aesthetic. What makes this pedal very unique is that it has a noise gate and then a compressor in the signal chain of the pedal itself. This pedal is perfect for subgenres such as gent, since it brings out the clarity of breakdowns and reduces the amount of gain given when you're hitting those low end notes. Okay, so for the next part, I actually want to show what each of the pedals do in a mix and how they affect the guitar tone. So here I have a dry DI track. There's nothing to it, just straight into my interface, and that's it. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to send the signal out from my interface into an overdrive pedal, and then from there I'm going to reamp that signal with my fractal, and then it's going to send back. So the signal you're going to be hearing is actually the fractal itself once it's post-processed. So I'm just going to click play real quick, and this is going to be the signal without an overdrive pedal. So I'm going to leave this here. Okay, so as you can see, the signal does sound kind of dry. There's some tapping parts in this little DI example. And the reason why I did that is because when you turn on the pedal, you're going to see why it's actually very popular to use an overdrive pedal for leads. So here I'm going to have the SD1. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to set it up. This is the way I usually have it configured. You know, the level maxed out, the tone set up at pretty high and very low drive. So I'm going to just play it real quick, and then I'm going to play around with the knobs and show you what each of them do. So as you can see, the tone does sound kind of dry without the overdrive pedal, and especially in the tapping parts, it comes out a lot cleaner with the overdrive pedal put in. So now what I'm going to do is that I'm going to have this small riffing section, and I'm just going to turn each of the knobs so that you can see how each of them work. So this is it, the overdrive. Alright, so I'm going to turn it on. Now what I'm going to do is set the level all the way low. low. So you can hear the volume's cut off, you can't hear anything. Put in volume. So now I'm going to move the tone all the way down. So as you can hear, when I move the tone knob all the way down, it sounds kind of more bassy, whereas when I brought the tone all the way up, you could hear a lot of the highs in it, making it sound a little bit more clear, but you also get a little bit more frizz in it. So now I'm just going to mess with the overdrive pedal. As you can hear, drive down all the way, it actually sounds pretty clean, sounds pretty neat. When you max out that drive though, it does sound kind of fuzzy, you get a lot more mud in the mix. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is actually get the TS808 and do the same thing and show you the difference that makes. So now I have the TS808 connected, so I'm going to do the same thing. First I'm going to have everything set up normally, turn it on and off and show you what it does. So I kind of like to put in this configuration, you know, overdrive all the way at the low, the tone probably about 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, and then the level maxed out. And then I'm also going to show you with that riff. Alright, so now I'm just going to do that same thing with that previous riff. I'm just going to play with the knobs. So, volume first. Alright, so I'm going to do tone knob next. It's all the way low, bringing it up. So you can hear there's kind of a little bit more clarity than the SD1, whereas that one, you know, when you boosted the mids all the way, you did get more of the high ends. Here, it still cuts off the high ends, but keeps the mids. So basically, by moving this tone knob, you're boosting either the high mids or the low mids. Now I'm going to mess around with the overdrive. So you can hear here, when I brought the overdrive all the way, you could hear a lot of gain going. So I'm actually just gonna turn this on real quick so you could hear all that frizz. That's just boosting a lot of the highs. So basically with the overdrive pedal, when the overdrive knob's all the way, you're gonna be boosting a lot of those highs, and that's actually why I'm getting a lot of talk back when I turn that on like that. So you could hear in the mix itself, you know, boosting that knob itself does bring a lot more frizz. It does muddy things up. So this ends the first part of the video series I'm doing on overdrive pedals. The next part, I'm going to get those 4 pedals I showcased earlier, compare their tones, and see how each of them fit in a mix. Now, if there's any gear or software that you want to hear a review on, please leave a comment on the section below, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you all for watching.